Dáme pokračovat, kámo. Je to pořád ten samý den, už 3 díly mám. A je to pořád jeden na ten samý den, nebo spíš 4 vlastně, když se tak na tím zamyslím. I know, it's kind of a touchy subject, but we need to talk about it if we're ever going to get things straightened out between all of us. You were all there, but does anyone need a refresher? The festival. It's a day that all of us would be all too happy to forget. At least that's what the looks on Sayori, Natsuki and Yuri's faces tell me. But if Monika's insistent on bringing it back up, I guess we have no choice but to remember. Oh, Nani? It's Monday, and time for the school festival. Co to bylo teda za den, kámo? I've always enjoyed these, as they were essentially a day off from school, but I never got involved in anything like this. I can't believe I have to read out a poem. I'm still not even that proud of the one I chose. Natsuki's over helping me carry the cupcakes to school. It's so many though, that we need help even from Sayori. We're standing outside her door and so far she hasn't come out. It seems she overslept again. I suggest moving on. I still don't feel very comfortable doing it, but I'm not going to be late because of her. I'll go wake her up, Mattes. I'm good at this type of thing. I nod and she goes in. I set my book back down and lay against the fence and start to doze off. Just about 30 minutes later they come out ready to help. They pick up their trays and we walk together to the festival. We arrive at the festival 20 minutes late and immediately set Natsuki's cupcakes on a nearby table. Thankfully not much happened during our absence, but some of the stage was already set up. How Monika, Yuri and Natsuki got a piano into the room is a mystery for the ages. How did they fucking do that? How? Just how? Tell me. Tell me, motherfucker. Tell me how they do that. Half an hour later and we're finished. To celebrate our good work, Sarah and I both take one of Natsuki's cupcakes. Sarah immediately stuffs it into her mouth while I take a moment to inspect Natsuki's latest design. Instead of the traditional sphere or kittens on the top, she shaped the icing into closed books. Each one uniquely decorated to mimic the cover of famous novels around the world. Quite fitting of the cup's theme. Wow, Natsuki, these are really good. They might even be our best batch yet. Aw, thanks. Seriously, I'm impressed with how the icing is done. Something this intricate must have taken a lot of time, effort, or both. Well, duh. I've got a lot of practice with this kind of thing by now. It's really not that hard once you've done it a few times. Don't sell yourself short either. You did alright too. Natsuki suddenly turns a bright shade of red and speaks under her breath. I just hope that everyone else is as impressed by them as much as you guys are. Yuri and Monika both walk over and each take a cupcake as well. We all take a few moments to enjoy their rich flavor and show Natsuki our gratitude. Geez, I'm glad that you guys like him so much. Just make sure that you save enough for our guests too, alright? Speaking of guests, has anyone signed up to join the club yet? No, not so far. But then again, the festival hasn't really picked up yet either. All in due time, I suppose. We haven't started to read any of our poems yet either. Speaking of which, do you have your poem on you, Mattes? I finished the last bite of my cupcake and reply, oh yeah, it's right here in my book bag. I cut myself off. I suddenly came to realize the now apparent emptiness where my book bag should be. I did. I must have set it down somewhere when I was waiting for Sayori. Well, that isn't very good. We don't have time for you to run back and grab it. Monika turns to me to address the rest of the club. Does anyone have a poem that they can lend to Mattes? He seems to have forgotten his. She casts me a quick side glance as she continues. You know, the main event of the day and everything. Monika's having fun guilt-tripping me, I think. It's not like I did it on purpose. Suddenly Sayori steps into the conversation in my defense. Hey, there's no need to pick on Mattes like that. For the record, I forgot my poem too, so he's not the only one. Sayori, this is something that you should feel proud of. Proud. But I just forgot. Hehe. You can't just go forgetting things like that, Sayori. Not only are you both late because you overslept, but now two of us don't even have anything to read to our guests. You're supposed to help me run the literature club, but the truth of the matter is that in the end, you not only skirt your responsibilities, I even get stuck pulling your slack on top of that. When you do things like that, do you ever think about how much work you're leaving for anyone else? How are we supposed to attack new club members now? Well, It's not like my reading was going to attract anyone new to the club anyway, so really, I don't count. Sorry, did you leave your poem behind just so that you wouldn't have to read it in front of everyone today? What? Of course not, why would I do that? I didn't even sleep today. I actually got up early for once. I was late this morning because I couldn't find where I left my poem. I even told Matthias that when I was apologizing to him, I wouldn't lie about something like that. Oh, so that's what she mentioned she was looking for earlier. She was speaking so fast I didn't even catch that. Don't play dumb with me. You're just trying to face in front of the club right now, aren't you? I'm honestly ashamed of your behavior, ex-vice president. At this point, a crowd of students has been gathering at the door, taking an interest in the unfolding drama. Several of them slowly file into the classroom for a better view. A couple of the braver ones sneak further in and enjoy one of Natsuki's cupcakes as they snicker at us. Natsuki steps in. Hey, you leave Sayori alone. I didn't want to read any of these damn poems either. In fact, none of us did. You're the only one who wanted to go through with this dumb idea in the first place, Monika. Monika glares at Natsuki for a moment before speaking again. I'm sorry, Natsuki. And here I thought that you were confident enough to read in front of everyone. But I guess that's not really the case after all. Wow, I've never seen this side of Monika before. Honestly, I'm pretty shocked. She seems rather irritable, to say at least. Perhaps it's because she's under pressure, being in public like that, and Natsuki isn't having any of that. Oh, I'm sorry, Monika. And here I thought that you were the kind of leader that listened to her club members when they voiced a concern, but I guess not. Some club president you are. Natsuki, in case you weren't listening, no one's asking for your opinion. So if you don't want to do anything for the festival, don't you just go read manga by yourself in the corner like you usually do? Okay, things are getting way too out of hand. I'm trying to think of a way to stop the argument, but I don't even know where to step in. Thankfully, Sayori tags back in for Natsuki. Well then, I'll ask her now. Natsuki, what's your opinion? Why, I'm glad that you asked, Sayori. At least somebody cares about the rest of the club's opinions. And in my opinion, Monika's being an awful jerk. And in my opinion, neither of you really care all that much about the literature club after all. Maybe that can change someday in the future, but I doubt it. Guys, stay out of this, Yuri. Yuri squeals and quietly backs away from the other girls. As she backs up, she accidentally bumps into one of the other students and finally takes notice of the growing crowd, furthering her embarrassment. Turn to the other club members and gather my confidence. There's only one thing to do. Well, here goes nothing. Hey! the sudden shout jolts them out of their squabble. You're making mockery of your own club. We've succeeded in drawing a crowd, but not in the way we wanted to. So can all of you stop your fucking pretentious bickering and get your fucking acts together? Wow, I think I actually did it. Natsuki opens her mouth to retort, but she takes one look at me and quickly closes it. At this point, the crowd has mostly dispersed already, although a few students stuck around to thank Natsuki for the cupcakes. Even from here it's noticeable that our sign-up sheet was just as empty as when we started. Yeah, no fucking shit, Sherlock. So, does everyone understand why this club's still at square one? The rest of us look down at the floor in disappointment. Monika follows the suit. She knows that she was part of the problem after all, even if she doesn't want to admit it. Monika's eyes move up to the back of the room, lost deep in thought. She takes a moment and lets out a sigh before continuing. Sayori, Mates, I'm really sorry that I snapped at the both of you. Look, I know that Sayori didn't intend to oversleep or lose her poem or whatever it is today, and that you were too busy with bringing the decorations here too. I haven't noticed the effort that Sayori had put into her hygiene yesterday. I was honestly impressed. Given that, I can understand how you might lose track of things when your mind's so preoccupied. And if I'm being honest, I share some of the blame for that too. As the one in charge of the events, I should have had you both email me your poems last night just in case. Or something to that effect. I hate to admit it, but as club leader, I fed you both. She turns to the other two girls and continues monologuing. And I'm sorry for yelling at the both of you two, Yuri and Natsuki. I really shouldn't have. I stepped way out of the line. Monika turns to address the whole group again. I should have listened to all of you the first time around. It's just, She takes a moment to gather her thoughts again and continues. I've been working so hard on getting preparation set up for this festival. I've been practicing piano for 6 hours straight every single day for the past 2 weeks. Plus any free time I had after class was over. I've practiced reading my poem in front of the mirror nearly 100 times to make sure that I had it memorized by heart. I posed a few dozen flyers of my own design around the school to advertise our event. I even composed my own song to play as background music for everyone's poem to help them keep a rhythm to the words. I had to call in a favor to borrow a piano from the music department. I even spent my own money to rent a microphone and a stage light and a video camera to make sure that this whole event would be something worth remembering. I know that none of you were all that interested in performing for the festival at first, but I was really hoping that my enthusiasm would prove to be infectious. I thought that maybe if I showed you all how much effort I was putting in that, it would inspire you all to do the same. I just wanted everything to be perfect, to prove just how awesome our club is. But I let that get in the way of that matters most. And for that, all that I can say is, I'm sorry. I'm utterly taken back. I never realized just how much effort Monica had been putting into the festival behind the scenes. No wonder she was always so late to the club. To think that it had kind of become a running gag for us. On top of all that, I never expected to hear such a heartwarming apology out of her. I think that we all seriously underestimate just how much the school festival really meant to her. I want to man up and take my share of the responsibility, but how am I even supposed to follow up something like that? Oh well, here goes nothing. I suppose I have to apologize too. It was my mistake that caused everything to spiral out of control in the first place after all. I should have double checked myself instead of surfing the web when I was waiting for Sayori. So yeah, I'm sorry everyone. Natsuki steps forward. Well, you both need to stop being so hard on yourselves, it's dumb. Neither of you are at fault anyway, so stop feeling so guilty about it. I can understand Monica wanting everything to go smoothly for the festival, and it's not really fair that we let her shoulder so much on the burden. And even after she did all of that, we still couldn't bother to. I'm the one who... I thought rushing over... through the rushing of her words and the shakiness of her voice, it's clear that Natsuki is really struggling to apologize. Sayori comes over and wraps her arms around Natsuki. I forgive you, Natsuki. And you too, Monica. And Mates. It doesn't matter that we all made some mistakes yesterday. It's not a big deal as long as we are still friends when it comes down to it. Yes. Natsuki dries her eye and the faintest hint of a smile starts to graze her lips. Yeah, well, the club might not have any new members, but we make up for quantity with quality, right? Yuri stops looking at her shifting feet and finally breaks the silence. I like the club better this way. I know you wanted more members, Sayori and Monica, but I don't really. It's great for there to be a place just for us, where all like each other just the way we are, and don't have any serious drama. Besides, if we can still get that heated when there's just the five of us, just imagine what could happen if there were even more. Sayori seriously ponders that line for a moment, something I rarely see out of her. Well, I don't want to take on any more members if our founding members aren't completely on board. So I guess that I agree with you guys. Monica takes a look at everyone, processing everything that's happened over the last several minutes. She seems to slowly soften to the rest of the club's outlook. So I'm the only one left, huh? I guess that settles it then. No more new club members, at least for the time being. Okay everyone, if this is the club's final decision, then that's good enough for me. But I want all of us to be completely open with our hearts. Are we totally sure that the literature club is good as it is? I decide to speak first myself for once. I'm spending every afternoon with all of you. I don't think it could get any better than it already is. Even if we had 100 club members. Absolutely! Who needs 100 club members when each of us is 100 times more fun away? Anyway, I don't mind this at all. In fact, I prefer it. It's honestly great just hanging out with all of you every day. If there were more of us, then we wouldn't be able to spend all the time together, and I wouldn't trade that for anything. Alright everyone, it's official. The Literature Club will retain its 5-member count. That's just how it is. Everyone beams at the news. Well, no poems this week. Take it as a show of good faith for me, I guess. Ooh, thanks Monica. Aw, well, alright. I like writing poems, fine, but getting a break now and then is nice too. Natsuki looks over at me and we both smile. And we leave the club together before Natsuki and I split off from the others. Mates, eh? You didn't forget about Sunday, did you? How could I forget that? I wink at her. She blushes and my heart skips a beat. OK, yes, tady to budem končit. Tady to budem končit, necháme to na tady téhle notě. Jo, necháme to na tady téhle notě. Mějte se. Mám vás všechny rád, kámo. Všech 16 odběratelů. Uvědomuji si, že čím méně odběratelů máte, tím víc si je ceníte. Což je velmi nice. A uvidíme se někdy jindy. Mějte se. Můžete dát like. Odběr je to zadarmo. Takže si můžete kdykoliv unsubscribenout. Můžete sdílet toto video, můžete si dát dokonce zvoneček, abyste nemysleli žádný moje video. Můžete taky. Můžete mě taky podpořit tím, že si užijete zbytek dne, týdne, měsíce a v případě století. Mějte se a zdar!